Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to represent the 3rd Congressional District of Ohio. Unfortunately, my district, the state, and the nation is no stranger to senseless gun violence, lack of affordable housing, and quality health care. I rise today again to say enough is enough. I rise to mourn the 13,200 men, women, and children who have been victims of gun violence this year. The time for only thoughts and prayer is over. It's time for serious, hard-hitting policy and change. I call on my colleagues to support my legislation, H.R. 287, the Safer Now Act. Safer America for Everyone right now is comprehensive and pulls together the most forward-thinking policies in one package. It would, Mr. Speaker, require background checks, prohibit the sale of semi-automatic assault weapons, make trafficking in firearms a standalone criminal offense, prohibit the possession of firearms by a person who has been convicted of stalking, and bans bump stocks. Let's pass this bill and the 2 gun reform bills already waiting on Senate action. My first ever floor speech when elected to Congress was on gun violence. Since then, I sponsored and helped sponsor and pass common sense gun laws, proudly received an F rating from the NRA, participated in the 24-hour gun reform sit-in, marched with Moms Demand Action, and stood with Students Demand Action for gun reform and more. I'm calling on the governor of Ohio, city mayors, state representatives, city council, community leaders, and others to demand action to make our communities safer. Get guns off the street. Train and put neighborhood police back in our communities. Call upon the soon-to-be new police chief of Columbus to first patrol our inner city neighborhoods, know our community, hold police officers accountable, and support reducing gun violence, because enough is enough. Mr. Speaker, lack of affording housing is an issue. The Columbus area is the most expensive region for housing in Ohio. A person who would have to work a minimum wage of over $18 per hour to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. We are fighting to only get a $15 per hour minimum wage. I recently convened an affordable housing summit to discuss this critical issue with 36 stakeholders, toured the district, and in that evening was joined by some 400 constituents to have a community conversation, hearing firsthand from them about affordable housing issues. We know that young people and African Americans are disproportionately affected by this housing shortage. Too many young people, too many seniors, too many veterans, and too many families are facing homelessness. Columbus and our suburban areas are continuing to grow. We need to ensure that all of our residents can grow and prosper. Call to action. I recently passed a bill for FHA first-time home buyers to get a reduction on their mortgage insurance for taking a financial literacy course. Passed the House. Now let's call on the Senate to pass it. We must increase the supply of equitable opportunities to access affordable housing. Call on the banks to design CRA projects with their bank-owned houses. Raise bond financing. Expand abatement housing buyouts. Increase federal funding. Hire a housing czar in my district and support state housing tax credits. I will continue to work with stakeholders to address this affordable housing crisis. Mr. Speaker, lastly for today, I rise for access to affordable and quality health care for my constituents and all Americans. Too many constituents do not get the care they need due to skyrocketing costs. Too many seniors can't afford their prescriptions, and they're cutting their pills in half to stretch their medicine. Too many young people cannot afford the insurance premiums to even get access to a doctor. At the beginning of this Congress, I met with stakeholders in my district to solicit their help. I will continue to support the Affordable Care Act, oppose Republicans' attempts to dismantle this critical legislation, because if Republicans had their way, nearly 30 million Americans would lose their health care, an unconscionable and sobering statistic. I am proud to co-sponsor H.R. 3, the Lower Drug Costs Now Act. Mr. Speaker, I am fighting for the people of the 3rd Congressional District, and I yield back.